You don't have to wait until you reach financial independence to start enjoying your life. You can do that much earlier and start living a life that you love and that's true to you. Welcome to Freedom Before FIRE. Using FIRE and life design techniques, we help you create freedom on your way to FIRE instead of waiting until you're retired to do the things that light you up. I'm your host Greg, a FIRE movement and life design enthusiast. If you're itching to get freedom now, then let's do this. Hello and a warm welcome back to the show. I hope you're doing well and having a great week. Now, when we start saving, investing, and generally working towards our FI pot, some of the initial benefits that come to mind for doing all of this might be the ability to pay off debts, to afford a down payment on a house, or maybe it's to pay for your travels, which is all fine and pretty normal. But there's actually a hidden benefit to saving and being frugal, and it's not something you might think of right away. Having some savings gives you a bit of a superpower, and I'll tell you what it is right now. It gives you the confidence to take risks. Now, risks can come in all shapes and sizes and can mean different things to different people. But here are some examples to explain what I mean. Let's say someone might be going through a bit of a tough period in life. Maybe it's they're in a toxic work environment and really want to work somewhere else. Maybe they're getting stressed about their work and really want to change career or start a business. Or perhaps they're itching to take a career break to travel but fearful of what others might think of them. If someone was feeling any of those things, they might not have the courage to take a risk and make changes for the better. They might feel it's safer to stay where they are. However, if this person had, let's say, the equivalent of, say, 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up in an accessible account, which is outside of their emergency fund, the decision to make a change would be a little bit easier. Having that financial backing would give them the mental confidence to take that risk. It would then become a calculated risk. So my background is in project management in the construction industry. Now, before embarking on any construction project, we have to carry out a risk assessment. We need to think through all the tasks and then list all possible risks that might occur. But we don't just list all the risks and that's it. We need to find ways to eliminate those risks or reduce the impact of them. It's called risk mitigation. So anyway, going back to personal finance, having those extra funds could be a good risk mitigation strategy. It gives you a bit of a safety net. So for example, let's say you wanted to start a business. Having 6 to 12 months worth of expenses saved up would help give you the courage to take the leap. Then if 3 to 6 months down the line, you realize it's not all what you expected, you can always go back to your job. You're able to cover your living expenses while you find another job. We've also heard stories like this in recent episodes. In episode 70, Brenda of Fire Spark Retreat, based in Australia, talked about how being on the FI journey helped give her the confidence to change industries in her profession. In the previous episode, episode 74, Justin from the FI Minded podcast actually left the job after only a few months to take a mini retirement because the new job wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. One thing we need to remember as well is, you don't have to have reached FI to gain this confidence. The guys I just mentioned earlier, Brenda and Justin, are still on their journeys to FI. You build the confidence during your FI journey. Of course, the more along the journey you are, the bigger your confidence grows. Okay, so before we wrap up, there's one thing I wanted to share. I was recently watching a YouTube video about a lady who left her high-paying corporate career to live a more simple and relaxed life in Southeast Asia. And one of the audience comments struck me. Okay, so I'll read out what somebody wrote. They said that, "I'm literally crying watching this on repeat. Living the corporate America rat race now and I feel so suffocated. This life you talk about has been my dream for the past 3 years. Praying that God will grant me the courage to make the change and live a simple and uncomplicated life." End of comment. Now this got me thinking. Of course, I don't know their full background, but it's likely that if they were on the FI journey, they could potentially gain the confidence to take that leap and leave their corporate career as well. Anyway, just something to ponder on. So anyway, if you're currently on your FI journey, then well done you, because whenever you'll be faced with a difficult decision, just remember that being on the journey would hopefully make that decision a little bit easier. It would give you that confidence to take risks and would help you mentally, which is something we don't talk about enough. I hope that's helped. If you wanted to reach out, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram at freedombeforephi. You can even follow us. I upload clips of our guest interviews there, just in case you're stuck for time to listen to the full interviews. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you need more help, you can check out our free guides and services on our website, freedombeforephi.com. If you have a burning question or just want to chat, don't hesitate to drop me an email at greg@freedombeforephi.com. If you found the show useful and want to be notified of future episodes, you can click follow on Spotify, Apple, or the app you're currently using right now. If you think the episode will help a friend or a colleague, feel free to share it with them. And lastly, if you learned just one good thing that will help you in your journey and you want to help us out, please do leave a 5-star rating on your podcast player app. That would help us out loads. Alright, have a great rest of the week. And as always, practice gratitude, live life by your design, and do things that make you smile. You got this.